Merry Christmas Eve. Um, Ryan here coming to you with a brand new video on this beautiful Christmas Eve. And here we are right now, talking about changing your beliefs. And I know a lot of us are out there, we are struggling with the whole belief thing. All right. As this is particularly important. When you have certain beliefs, when you hold certain beliefs about yourself, perhaps others, well, mostly about yourself. When you hold a belief about yourself, I mean, you could hold belief about your children as well, and you probably tell them that they are not gonna become anything in life because that's the belief that you hold. They don't know that, but you are telling them that. Okay. But no, when you grow up and whatever beliefs, whatever beliefs you downloaded as a child, that belief is gonna carry you through for the rest of your life until you change it accidentally or consciously, intentionally, one of the two. Okay, so change your beliefs. I remember when this dawned down on me some years ago when I was working at a restaurant, and I was just pretty much lost, not understanding, didn't know who I was, didn't really understand that I could become better than how I was, and the whole thing was just a huge problem for me at the time. And I lack the information that I was, that I need to take the necessary actions. If I had the information, then I could act. But I didn't really have the information, so I didn't really know what to do. And it was when I got on, YouTube, and I see these people who are on there, kind enough. A lot of them, some of them are scammers, but they were kind enough to say what they know or to teach what they know. And they were talking about, especially Bob Proctor, when he was talking about, you know, your paradigms, because these are just programs, or these are just beliefs. That's what these are. Amarda, these are just beliefs. Your programs, your paradigms. That's what they are. These are information that doesn't serve you, but you hold these beliefs to be true. So here you are, 25, 35, 45, 55 years old, cannot seems to get ahead, not understanding why you are not getting to where you need to get to. The belief you hold about yourself, the beliefs you hold about yourself. And this is when you're gonna have to like sit down and start looking at some things that you always want to do, and start working on those things little by little, bit by bit, piece by piece, and this will change your belief over a period of time. Right now, I set a goal to run 30 miles. I am going to run that 30 miles because I already believe already that I can run 30 miles. Okay? I remember when I was trying to run 5 miles, and that seems like a massive task. Now I can run 5 miles with ease. I have run 5 miles, I've run 10 miles, I run 12 miles, I run 13 miles, I run 16 miles, I run 20 something miles. Okay? I remember when those numbers, or those distance looks like a faraway land, like I would never get there. All right? I changed that belief about myself. I changed those beliefs. All right? And that's one way how I did it. It was through running. Mental toughness, all of that. I developed all of that on my running journey. Today is day 498 days since I've been running. Right? So, changing the beliefs. So when I was working at a restaurant many years ago, I believed that I could not do anything better. I knew I probably could get a different job and so forth, but that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more than just getting a new job. So this is when, during that time, I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Who the hell am I? Right? And I was just miserable that entire time. Nobody, when I looked around, the people I looked around, that there were not one person around me to really give me any sound, solid advice about what to do, where to go to, who to talk to, any of that stuff. I stumbled upon this thing here by accident, right? And I stumbled upon something called personal development, and that's when I discover all these people start talking about, these guys who came from nothing and then they develop themselves and they become way better than how they are. And I start to follow and listen to those people and listen to their advice, what they are giving, and whatever they say, I will follow and I will implement those habits, rituals, and routines into my life. And then Bob Proctor started talking about the repetition. That changes my entire life. Now, because there were some beliefs that lodge in here and they need to be removed or replaced with new information, better information, upgrade my biocomputer. Okay. And I start to listen to certain audios on repeat over and over and over. And then, when I hear people are talking about, um, hey, how you doing? How y'all doing? Good. It's good night here now, but good morning to you. It's good evening here. Good morning to you. So I started to, I stay on this journey here for a long time. Even when I do not know what the hell was gonna become of what I was doing. Sometimes I'm like, why am I even doing anything here? Because I'm not seeing any results at all. And I continue on. I never quit. I just keep on going. Thank you very much. Good night. So when it was time now to start implement this, these habits, because that's what I have to change mostly, more than anything else, was to change these habits so that way I can build some new habits which would eventually run my life over a period of time. So when I wake up in the morning, this is what I'm going to do. Before bed at night, this is what I'm going to do. But that took many years. But things didn't really took off until like a year ago or so, when things really begin to make a whole lot of sense to me. Once I got into the gym, I start working out. Of course, I feel a whole lot better instantly. And then put on my running shoes, hit the pavement, and I start running. And then so I combine those two together. A hybrid fitness, running plus working out, hybrid fitness changes the game for me. Now, remind you, those beliefs were still there. Not all of them, but because I removed a ton of them over the years, but there were some still there. When I add the mind exercises to my routine, and that's when things really begin to change. I start feeling a whole lot better, and I know this. I believe that I could just, I have to stay in an angry state all the time for whatever reason, protective. I'm not in what that was, but that was a joke. And I realized that I remove a lot of the anger and the bitterness and the resentment and the things happens to me in the past, and people who me and them cross paths, and I was just resentful. I was just bitter. I noticed those change over a long period of time from doing what I know I need to do. I used to believe that I can't wake up early. That stuff changes over a period of time. I start waking up early and I start to, go to the gym, those things. So over a period of time, I start to implement these changes. Now, looking back at it now, and see when I was in that kitchen, because my life was a living hell while I was working at that place. I should have quit that job long time ago. I didn't, and that has led me, with some that has left me with some bitter experiences. But that was the thing. I thought I couldn't do any better. I thought I have to be in this restaurant here, you know, because I need money to pay my bills, and it was a terrible spot to be in. All right. Eventually, I quit that job and I moved to I got another job. When I got the other job, it was cool for a minute because it's new and so forth. But after a while, I realized that I start feeling the same feeling again, like when I was at a restaurant. There is something more I need. I need something here. My life needs, I need a change. I need to upgrade my life. The way how I was living, it was just tiring, and I become, I just grew tired after the way how I was living. So what do I do? Like I said, I stumbled upon this thing called personal development. So I start to read and listen to all these books, and I would listen to, you know, Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale, and the stuff that that man was saying on that audio. I have never heard anybody talk the way how Earl Nightingale talks on that 30-minute audio, The Stranger's Secret. I highly recommend it. But in the beginning, he said something interesting. He said the late Dr. Albert Schweitzer was in England, and they were stopped him. The reporter stopped him and asked him, say, "Hey, doctor, what's wrong with men today?" And he said, "Men simply don't think." And I started to think about that. I'm like, I wasn't thinking all these years, right? I wasn't thinking about what I want. Who do I want to be? What type of friends do I want to be around? What do I like? I wasn't thinking about those things all along. So I spent all those years just going around in circles. And I noticed something during that time. Every 2 to 3 years or so, if it's sometimes every 5 years, I noticed I was going around in circles. The same things keep on happening over and over and over again. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Okay? So I decided that I am going to change. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what I have to do in order for me to make this change, because I do not want to regret living the life. Not living the life I want to live on my deathbed. That was my that was a conversation I was carrying on with myself. So eventually, you know, even when it was hard, I would got up and go there and do what I need to do. And we were saying, you know, you gotta listen to these audios, you gotta read these books. And I was trying to stay on track, but I noticed there was a problem there. I was not committed, really. I was committed to a degree, but not fully committed. Discipline was something that I didn't even understand. I was listening when I started to listen to these audios. One of the audios about success, and we're talking about how successful people typically they are disciplined people, and he said that discipline can be developed. That I did not know. So I listened to the audios and I'm figuring out how can I develop my discipline. And I learned something, I think is from John Assaraf, and then what he said, whatever he's gonna do, whatever new habits he's gonna implement, he will do them for 100 days. So I said, okay, let me find some things and do them for 100 days, so that way I can become even more disciplined. What I did was um, I start running and I start working out. This was 498 days ago when I truly become committed in my life for the first time, like really committed. I become really disciplined and I become really consistent for the first time, combined with taking action. I have never been this committed, this disciplined in my life. I'm almost at 500 days running. Did not know that that was going to happen. Okay? These beliefs I hold about myself. Hey, Charles, you know? So these beliefs I hold about myself all these years, not understanding how to change them. And I start, so Bob Proctor said, repetition. That's how you change the beliefs. That's how you create a new belief, is through repetition. Okay? So once I realized that I didn't have to stay at that restaurant anymore, I didn't have to work there because my beliefs changed. Thank you very much, yeah, Charles. I realized that my beliefs changed. So now I no longer believe that I have to stay at a restaurant and work for the rest of my life to pay bills. And I no longer hold those beliefs. Okay? Or I need to go to somebody's job to get a job so that way I can. I mean, I will do that for now. But in the future, my life will not look like that because I changed those beliefs about myself. So when I got up in the morning, no, early morning, because like my wake up time is 4:30. That's my wake up time. Because I realized that all these. Bye bye. Take care, Charles. Bye. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas Eve. So I realized that so those beliefs no longer hold me, no longer holds me back or hold me down, right? So moving forward, now in the future, I don't have to worry about worry about beliefs hold me back because I changed them. And so I said that my wake up time is 4:30. When I wake up in the morning, there are certain materials that I take out and I begin to go over the reps because it is very hard. Okay? Especially in the beginning. It's very hard because you are trying to replace the information that you were given as a child. Okay? And your subconscious mind keeps kicking them out. But you have to keep on going back over and over and over until your subconscious mind says, okay, never mind. Give up, keep going, and go do your thing. Money, that used to be a huge problem for me. My bank account, pretty much always empty. I noticed once I got on this journey here and I start to implement the steps that these gurus will lay out. Money doesn't seems to my bank account doesn't seems to get empty anymore. Sometimes after I pay my bills, I'm like, what the heck? Do I still have money left over? Because I realized that my belief about money was I hold a terrible belief about money. My relationship with money was just horrible. But once, so like I said, when I start doing this, and for a good portion of those years, I was negative too. So what I start doing? So like I said, when I wake up in the morning, I take out some materials and I start studying them. Prayers, because I need to, reduce the anger, the resentment, the bitterness. Prayers help me keep that in play, keep myself in check. Positive affirmations, because negativity was, took a hold of my life for a good portion of the time, for many years. So that needs to change. I no longer believe that I have to be a negative person. Prosperity affirmations. Now that one took me a long time. Jamaica. So that took me a long time, to really come to terms with. And then I start to practice these prosperity affirmations. And I noticed over a time, I don't have that terrible relationship with money anymore. So that begins to heal. My relationship with money begins to heal. So now my bank account doesn't go dry after I get paid anymore. And that was a problem. So I have to do that mentally. So I put in I fix that. And personal development. I got in there, and also gratitude. No, this was a hard one because I was thinking to myself, what the heck do I have to be thankful for? Look at my life. I'm working in a goddamn kitchen. I am not getting what I want. Or then I move from the kitchen, I go work into the warehouse. I'm like, okay, what is here to be thankful for? But over a period of time, trial and error, and practice and practice and practice, my relationship begins to change. So gratitude is something now when I get up, I give a whole lot of thanks. This is not particularly easy, especially when you are not in the best shape, in the best state, and you are struggling, you are suffering. Not much help coming your way. But I gotta say, nobody's coming to save you. You have to understand that. You are the only one who is gonna be able to save yourself. Okay? And this is why you are gonna have to start implementing these habits, these rituals, these routines, these principles. Take action. You're gonna have to start doing that. Change your beliefs, change your life. The beliefs you hold about yourself is holding you back and is keeping you where you are. In order for you to move forward, that mindset has to change. Mindset, mind shift, that has to happen. Repetition is going to be your best friend there. You're gonna have to take some actions. You might believe that you cannot shed the 150 pounds that you need to shed. Yes, you can. It's going to be a mountain to climb, but you're gonna have to be willing to climb that mountain, climb over those boulders until you get to your destination. These are things that you're gonna have to do. All right? Change your life. Okay? It is your job. It's on you to do that. Nobody is going to do it for you. All right? So like I said, repetition changes beliefs. You might believe that you cannot do any better than than what you are doing right now. You need to understand that is not true. And you might try to take a little action here, trying to take a little action here, and then what happened? You go right back to where you were. There's a reason for that. Okay? This is why when you get on this journey here, you're gonna have to get committed to the journey. Stay committed. When you fell down, you need to get back up and get back on track. So many people I see, they were doing this thing for a little while, and then what happened? A couple of days later, they quit. Never return back to getting better, because that's the whole thing here. Is to get is to get better. Become better than how you are right now. All right. So I am probably going to leave it there for tonight. It's a short one here tonight. And Merry Christmas Eve to each and everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. And, help this video to get out into the YouTube universe. Change your beliefs, change your life. You change your beliefs through repetition. Try doing something that you have never done before. That's how you change your beliefs. Right? This is not particularly easy, especially if you're on your own. You probably need to find a coach or a mentor or somebody like that to help you. If you are not disciplined, please don't try to do this on your own. You need to be a disciplined person to do this on your own. Okay? Develop a discipline to put in the work to get the work done. Become disciplined and change your life. Okay? Maddie the body. I am doing well, Maddie. How are you? Merry Christmas Eve to you. Hope all is well. And yes, folks, so that was pretty much what I have for you for tonight. Okay, that's right. That's doing good. I hope you are staying warm over there. Um, so, thank you very much. So, Merry Christmas to you. So, yeah, folks, you're gonna have to put in this work here. You're gonna have to do the work. There are no shortcuts, and it can be extremely painful in the beginning. But I guarantee you, over a period of time, you are going to realize that it's some of the best investment you have ever made in your entire life. All right? Invest some time into yourself to make yourself better. Go down to the gym, get in shape, become more attractive. Put on your running shoes, start running. People who are in physically good shape are typically more attractive and they are typically more happier people. And you're gonna have to get yourself into that state of, where you are more happier than how you are right now. All right. Okay then, folks. Ryan here with a new video. Looking forward to see you soon in a brand new video. And enjoy your lovely meal that you guys are probably gonna eat tonight. Take care. Bye.